Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew the truth. I believe the words they used was, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. But it wasn't, guys. Apparently it was very one-sided. Hello and welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a subscriber story. It's a true story and I'm going to try and lay it out to you in order that it was imparted to me. Just remember, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Where do I begin? A subscriber reached out to me and said that he had a good relationship with a Rolex authorized dealer and a good buy history, but not a great relationship, a good. He was on a waiting list for a watch and it was just not coming. But he was patient and he bought jewelry, he bought other watches, and he bought lesser watches that he didn't really want in order to get to those watches. He basically did everything he was asked to do to get said Rolex. This was about 2 years ago, guys, and it was still quite hard to get a Rolex from an authorized dealer back then. Then one evening he got a call from the manager of the Rolex AD. The manager said they were in trouble and could he come and help them, and he did. He went the next day and he sorted their problems out. He sorted all of their problems out, and then he had an issue. Because it was an emergency, his bill was quite large and he was between a rock and a hard place. Do I give him the real bill and completely mess up his future watch, or does he just write this one off? So he did. He wrote this one off. He fixed the problem, supplied goods and materials, and didn't charge. He didn't. He did, however, mention that he was still waiting for his watches, and lo and behold, a couple of months later, one of them turned up, and here lies the problem. Over a year to 2 year period, that Rolex authorized dealer used him when it suited them to have work carried out at their house. But nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew the truth. Nobody knew that the manager of that Rolex AD was using him when it suited them to get goods and services for free. I believe the words they used was, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. But it wasn't, guys. Apparently it was very one-sided. What would happen is he would hear nothing for weeks, and then he would get a, hey, how are you? Something's not working. Would you mind sorting it for me? And that's how it went on, guys. It went on for over a year and a half. And again, nobody at that boutique was aware apart from the manager. My subscriber started to cotton on that he was being used. And what he decided to do was end the relationship. But he did it the safest way possible. He deleted the manager's mobile number and he didn't go back to the AD. He didn't. And lo and behold, 7 weeks later, that manager reached out to him again, hey, how are you? Sorry I've been this, because I've been going through a bad breakup, and that's the reason why I've behaved the way I have, but I'm all right now, and I've got another problem. And by the way, I've still got you down for this watch. And he's like, okay. And he's sucked back in again. He got sucked back into something he stepped away from because that person manipulated him again. So he goes back and does more work for that person. He did more fool him. And then that person, that manager, went funny again. And it was going on for month after month after month. No watch, no watch. This mutually beneficial relationship really wasn't, guys, according to this guy. So what he chose to do was, after a lengthy phone call with this Rolex AD, was tell them to get stuff, that he wanted nothing more to do with them, and he was deleting their number and he was never going to contact them again. And that's what he did, guys. He moved on. He did. But whatever that manager has said about him has caused him untold problems that have far reached outside of that boutique and spilled into another boutique, where he then had another bad interaction with another manager linked to this manager. But the other manager linked to this manager doesn't know about the mutual beneficial relationship. Nobody does, or nobody did. So what he chose to do, and it was a bad call, he reached out to the head office, and they were nice to him at first. They plied him for as much information as possible, and then when they realized, or whatever reason, they decided to shut him out and close him down. They did. Their last email to him said they were no longer going to reply to his emails. Can you believe that? And that they were going to deal with this very serious matter internally. I don't know how you shut out the victim and get to a fair resolution. I just don't know how you do it, guys. I just can't see how a company can gather information and make an informed decision by removing the key witness, the evidence, from the situation. Now, I get that they have to protect confidentiality, but these are quite serious allegations, guys. This is basically a Rolex AD taking the B, isn't it? Using their position of trust to ingratiate themselves with goods and services. I don't know a more serious crime for... Is it a crime? I don't know a more serious way to be. I don't know a more serious... This is quite serious, guys. This is quite bad behavior. And you've got to think, if that customer had been left alone, if that customer didn't get the call from that manager when they needed help, this never would have happened. None of this would have happened. And we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. We wouldn't be. And I would just like to hope that the employees of that AD, if they're watching this video, know why that subscriber reacted the way he did, why he suddenly went from being a happy customer at that store, spending quite a lot of money, to hating the store. I hope it makes sense. And this guy was generous. He was generous to a fault, and I'm pretty sure the manager realized, hey, I've got a soft touch here. I'll just keep feeding him bullshit and see how long I can get away with this for. And the goal of that manager, it's shocking, guys. I've spoken to the guy, and I know he's genuine, and I know that two wrongs don't make a right. He shouldn't have done the work for free. He should have charged her. But I guarantee you, if he'd have charged her, he'd have got nothing out of that AD, because that's the feeling he got when he was in that AD. This AD has a bad feeling in there, and I think it's from the top down. Now, I don't like to talk about hearsay, but the previous manager may have left under a cloud. But I'm pretty sure the subscriber who has told me what happened is telling the truth. And from a collector's point of view, us watch collectors, we get obsessed on watches and we want these watches. It's unexplainable and we are very easily led and manipulated. Only a true watch collector will understand what I'm talking about. I hope that this video gets to the right people and this never happens again, that a Rolex authorized dealer reaches out to a customer, takes goods and services from that customer to ingratiate themselves. I hope it never happens again, but based on what this subscriber is telling me, it probably will. I'm keeping it real. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next brand new video.